Welcome to Linda's Corner. My name is Linda Bjork, and today we're going to be talking about fitness and nutrition. I am delighted to welcome special guest Nate Palmer. Nate is a fitness and nutrition expert, coach, speaker, and #1 best-selling author. He helps people improve their physique, finances, and family time using fitness and nutrition. You can reach Nate at his website, natetrainingsystems.com, where he shares a free 5-day sugar detox, as well as a free copy of his book. And I'll include a link in the description. Welcome, Nate. I'm so delighted you could join with me today.
Thanks, Linda. I'm so pumped to be here. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I am so glad that you are here. And I just am delighted that you talked about improving our physique and our finances and on our family time. And that puts it kind of a package deal. We have a tendency in society to compartmentalize and put things in a little bento box where our physical health goes in this little spot, and our mental health goes in this one, and our emotional health goes in that one, and our family goes over here, and our finances go over here. And the truth is they're all interconnected, and I love that you bring that out. And that's so amazing. And you even talk about how you work specifically with like business people and entrepreneurs, and I just can't wait to learn all the things. So how do you put all those things together?
Well, I like the idea, the discrepancy between a bento box when really it's more like pho, right? Everything is all mixed up, and if we're going to continue with the food metaphors, which I hope we do because I love food.
I'm in.
But I think fitness for us can be the broth. It's like the base, right? And that's what can really hold a lot of these other things together. Because I think that there's a quote that I really like. I say all the time is that the man with his health has 1,000 dreams, and the man without it only has one.
Oh, right.
And so I think that so often, especially in Western society, we think, okay, you know what? I'm just going to buckle down. I'm just going to work for a quick 40 years. And then when I'm done with that, then I'll focus on my family. We'll go on vacations. I'll get my fitness in line. But really, when it comes down to it, if we let those other pieces slip, there's no amount of money that you can buy back your fitness. There's no amount of money that you can buy back hanging out with your kids when they're little. So no matter how much money you make, if you don't have that cornerstone of your health, your fitness, and I think the big thing here is also your energy. Can you show up with energy, purpose, and focus with your family in the evening? Because I'm not a family therapist. I'm not a financial or a business coach. But it seems like when I help someone dial in their nutrition and their fitness to prioritize their energy, all these other pieces start really falling in line.
That is so true. And isn't that amazing? And it creates a domino effect in a positive way. And so I think if you're going to start with anything, starting with your physical fitness is probably the best place to start. If you want to improve your finances, if you want to improve, health, obviously, but relationships, anything, when you feel better, then that reflects in everything that you do.
100%. Yeah. There's no question that when you feel better and you look better, you perform better, you have more confidence. And just when you wake up in the morning and you go, I feel awesome today. Or you look in the mirror and you're like, this is exactly how I wanted to look. There's a power that comes with that, and that translates to better energy, better mood. And if you, they say all the time, you can't pour from an empty vessel, right?
So
you're
true.
on an airplane, it's hey, put your mask on yourself first rather before you put it on your family members. If you're not solvent, if you're not whole, if you are struggling, if you have these thought processes that go in the back of your mind, it's you're not good enough, you're too with this, or you have too much blank. You can never be fully present for the things that are really important to you. Because I think that I like training, it's fun for me, but a lot of people don't.
True story.
And unless you're oh, I'm a trainer, I'm passionate about training, we need to use this as a vehicle to do, be, and have more, rather than fitness as the end goal, 5 pounds dropped as the end goal,
Oh, I love that. Oh, man. Okay, and I'm so excited. Let's talk a little bit about nutrition and weight loss, because that is so big. You talked about dropping 5-10 pounds, and that's the goal or the desire for a gazillion people. But there's so many different ideas out there, and it's so hard to know. It's here's the fast metabolism diet. You're supposed to eat every 2 to 3 hours consistently, and that helps keep your metabolism going. No, you're supposed to do periodic fasting, and that's supposed to do this to your body. No, you're supposed to be doing the keto where you're supposed to be eating lots of fat. No, you're not supposed to be eating any fat. And it's people who honestly, sincerely are trying to do a good job, we don't know what to do. So what do you suggest? How do you eat? When do you eat?
Great question. And before I even go into kind of my personal philosophy, just to address what you just said about just so much like the breadth of information in fitness, and information and misinformation. Because a lot of times people are working from like old studies, old news, and like I don't really believe that anyone in fitness is deliberately out to like hoodwink someone else and like teach them the wrong things. Everyone believes that they're doing the right things, but some of the information is outdated, or some of it's not really based on true science, or some of it is aimed at selling supplements.
I would have to say at some point when we talk about not based in true science and outdated, if something is true, it's not outdated. And so I think we're doing our best guesses, and a lot of the things that we have been taught are people's best guesses.
Totally. But like if you look back at like the 1970s when we were looking at like what's causing the meteoric rise in obesity and overweight, and the government honed in on what? Do you remember? Saturated fats.
Oh yeah,
fats in general. That's what this big like push for low fat products, low fat all these products and things that we purchase in the grocery store that were all low fat.
They're everywhere.
And so when we take the fat out, well, like they're a little bit more bland. So what did companies do to continue to increase their like product usage?
Probably add
Cram
sugar.
them full of sugars and salts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so now we've had like an increase in the amount of sugar, decreasing the amount of fats. So like, yes, we were working with what we thought to be true at the time, but science kind of keeps like evolving and showing us stuff. So like not to say like that was true, but like that was what we could do. Like that was the best we had at the time.
Right. Gotcha.
You know? So like that being said, like when you're looking at like a person or a coach or an influencer or a nutritionist or something like that, what I'm always trying to look at is like, is this person like walking the talk? Do they have people that they're working with that are showcasing results? Is this person like a know-it-all? Like, and I think I come across as a know-it-all sometimes. So like, take that or leave it. But like, is this person someone who's like, I have the answer for everything? Or are they constantly working on updating and like improving their information sources, gathering information from higher quality sources outside of themselves? And if the person is kind of hitting those three requirements, I think, and you're like, I vibe with them, like I like their message, I'm like, go in with them and then don't look at anyone else. Kind of put the blinders on, because like keto can work. I'm not a fan, but it can work. Like low fat can work. Also not a fan.
And didn't you do keto and put a bunch of oil in your coffee and stuff?
Yeah, like what? So I was like, who thinks that putting 500 calories of butter in their coffee in the morning is healthy? Like that to me, like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that one does seem a little counterintuitive to me.
Right. So I have what I believe is one of the greatest ways of facilitating fat loss, but also bolstering your energy. And the reason I like it is because that we focus on using the knobs and levers of your body to actually get a result that you're looking for, like by not necessarily being like, this food is good or this food is dirty or whatever else, but like, what is the goal that I want from this meal? And then what does this type of carb provide to my body? What does this type of fat provide to my body? What are these supplements doing for my body? So always kind of like, rather than being like, what am I hungry for? How much do I want to lose 5 pounds? It's like, what result do I want from this specific meal? And I think it's really powerful because, like I said, business people and entrepreneurs can connect with this. And if I can show them how they can now do 5 hours of work in 3 hours because their focus is better, because that's going to result in more money, they're going to stick with this a lot longer term. So even though keto might get results, intermittent fasting might get results, Atkins might get results, none of these things are going to work, or even like it doesn't even matter if they work if they're not sustainable. And that's what I love about this, is that it's sustainable because people understand they can connect that fitness and nutrition equals more focus, more financial success, more better family time. And that's what's really important to me. It's like when I ask someone later on down the road, I'm like, how's your nutrition going? And they go, listen, I don't even really feel like it's a diet. This is just how I eat now. I'm like, yes.
That is the goal. Because every time, I mean, I try this or that for a month and it's like, then the next day, pop, whatever gain or, benefits I had are gone. And that is so frustrating. It's like, totally. I'm really trying, dang it.
Yeah, so it's all about finding something that works for you. So I know I feel kind of like like meandering around your question, but can we talk a little bit about like
I don't
what the
mind
specifics
that
look like?
all. Yes.
Okay.
Specifics. Cool. Okay, bring it.
So in my book, The Million Dollar Body Method, I feel like a lot of coaches, will put out a book and it's like basically a glorified sales letter for their program. But I wanted this to be something that like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, someone could pick up and be like, wow, really great information. I'm getting good results from it. So what I categorize things into is what I call the 7 daily investments. So what are the investments that you need to make in your health every single day to result in amazing energy, vibrant health, and like great business and family time down the road. So I put into 7 things, and 3 of them, luckily, are just breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you're already doing all those things.
Okay.
Whew. So basically, like start off, first daily investment is a morning routine. And a lot of people talk about morning routines, but I've got, like I said before, 2 little kids at home. And so my like gratitude and journaling and meditation, all that stuff kind of disappeared when my daughter was born. Unless I want to sacrifice sleep to get those things, and I don't. So I distilled this into the 90-second morning routine that's going to get you up feeling really, really good. And it is so simple because I think that simplicity and a high return on your investment are crucial for dads, business owners, entrepreneurs everywhere. So
90 seconds. Yeah. What are you doing?
Okay. And you're going to be like, that's it. So just prepare yourself for it to be underwhelmed.
Okay.
So when you wake up in the morning, 32 ounces of water within 30 minutes, and then 60 seconds of explosive exercise. Explosive exercise being jumping jacks, jump rope, jumping on a rebound or trampoline, or just simply like standing in your corner like shadow boxing.
Awesome.
Doesn't matter. 60 seconds of that before you do anything else will get you amped up more than a pot of coffee in the morning. You're going to feel really good because what you've done is you shifted your body from what's called parasympathetic nervous system dominance. That's like the rest and digest. And you brought it over to sympathetic, which is fight or flight, but it's a spectrum, right? Here's like running from a cheetah, and here's where we want to be when we wake up. Like, okay, I'm up, I'm ready, I'm feeling good. Easy, right?
That is fantastic. So do you drink the water before you do the jump rope, or do you jump the jump rope before you drink the water?
I do like 16, jump rope 16.
Okay.
Because I found that if I did 32 and then I was like sloshing around.
Yeah, that's what I think would happen. That is brilliant. And I love that it makes it doable because everybody, well, not everybody, most people are going to say just what you did. I don't have time. And I don't want to sacrifice sleep for this because sleep is also part of our health and being able to function in the day. But everybody has 60 seconds. I mean, that's like brushing your teeth kind of a thing. We can do this. It kind of removes our excuses. So love it.
Awesome. Yeah. Appreciate that. So you're going to follow with me tomorrow and let me know how it went?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you. All right. So then the second of the daily investments is breakfast. And so I think breakfast in a specific way because like growing up, we're taught that what do they say on TV? Like a healthy part of a nutritious breakfast or healthy part of a complete breakfast.
Right.
And what do they show, Linda? Like Fruit Loops, glass of milk, glass of orange juice because probably you're really thirsty. Then like a banana, and like 4 pieces of white bread, and like a bagel and like a waffle. Like it's bonkers. It's just all this high energy, high carbohydrate food. And so, well, I don't have anything against waffles. And I've got clients. I had a client last night who's lost 6 pounds in his first week, and he ate Cinnamon Toast Crunch for dinner last night. So I don't have anything against those foods, but we just have to know exactly how to structure them so that we're utilizing them to get the results that we're looking for. We want our inputs to match our desired outputs. So for breakfast, all that stuff is going to do to you during the day is going to give you sugar spikes and drops, big spikes and energy drops all day long, which cue hunger, which makes you feel grumpy. Like all day long, we're out of alignment, we're out of balance, and it starts in the morning. Even if you're like, oh, I'm going to grab something healthy, I'm just going to grab a banana on the way out the door. You're still starting off with a high energy, high sugar snack, which is going to put you out of balance. So the way we get in balance, we want like a time release breakfast that's going to give us energy all the way till like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock lunchtime. And the best way to do that, Linda, is by having a high-fat, high-protein breakfast. And I recommend protein shakes because they're just easy and fast. And I'm always trying to think about what's simpler, faster, easier. How can we make this a more sustainable process? Because, like, yes, I would love for you to have, like, eggs and sausage and, like, make this, like, great breakfast. But some of us don't have time for that. We're not gonna. So protein shakes are really easy. Go protein, some peanut butter, almond butter, almond milk or water, a little bit of ice. And I always throw a little bit of salt in there to improve the hydration. That's a super easy shake that you can have in the morning. It's going to make you feel really good. It's going to get you out the door. And then for those of us who are like, you're like, okay, I'm going to try this out. Generally, we want between like 35 to 50 grams of protein. So not just one scoop. Make sure it's a little bit more dense than that.
Can you say that again? How many grams?
35 to 50 grams of protein in the morning.
That's a lot. So that's many scoops.
That's more than a lot of people get in an entire day.
Right.
You know what like the daily, like what the ideal requirement for protein is for people if they want to improve their body composition?
Mm-mm.
So it's an obscure number. It's 0.88 grams of protein per pound of like ideal body weight, which that's hard and stupid. So we round up to the nearest cool number, which is 1. And so 1 pound or 1 gram per pound that you want to weigh.
That simplifies the math. So thank you for that.
Big Again, simple, faster, easier. I love it. Can't get enough.
I am a fan. Okay, so now I've had my protein shake for breakfast. I've already done my exercise. I've drunk my water. And so I've gone through 3 of the things. I'm jamming, right?
I can tell you're positively glowing, Linda.
So what's next?
So then after that, like kind of interspersed throughout the day, one of the investments I call liquid assets. Okay, and this is I was like broken record, boring, basic stuff. And this is going to cost you $3, so be careful. You need to drink 1 gallon of water.
Okay.
Right? Because like, haven't you heard like, okay, you need your height and then your weight divided by like the hemisphere you're in, and then then if you're a Sagittarius, it's got to be like no, just a gallon of water.
So
We're not
true.
drinking enough.
Okay. Now, the quart in the morning does count toward that gallon, right?
Right.
Okay, so we're all good. Okay, I can do that.
So you get a quarter of your water in the morning, already out the door, done. So like, setting you up for success, stacking these little wins all day long, so that by the end of the day, you're like, I had 7 incredible wins with my fitness today, and like then you can just like you can feel really good. You're doing esteemable actions. You're building your self-esteem. You're eliminating that negative voice. Like all these things are kind of aligning to put you into like this positive momentum. Big Mo, Linda, momentum. I gotta have it.
Love it.
So
the big Mo.
So that's the liquid assets. That kind of like that transcends the day. It's the whole day. Then for lunch, we eat light to get more done. Eat light to get more done, to accomplish more. Because a lot of times, one of the reasons I don't like that 16-8 intermittent fasting, especially for business owners, busy people, is because that lunch meal ends up being a bigger meal. And what happens after you eat a Chipotle burrito for lunch, Linda?
I would love to take a nap.
Yeah, I'm crawling under the desk.
Totally.
So if we go and have a high protein, high vegetable lunch, like my favorite one, again, so simple, so boring. I love like chicken thighs with a bunch of baby carrots. I'll do you like half a pound of baby carrots out the door. And you feel like full, satiated. By the way, if you eat a half pound of baby carrots for an entire month, there's a study that was done that showcased that people actually think you look more attractive because of the beta carotene in it. So you actually improve your physical,
gives it a little more color. Yeah, I've heard if you eat too many carrots, you can kind of get the Oompa Loompa look, but half a pound apparently is just right.
They did a study on college students, so they took pictures before and had people rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. And the people who ate the carrots had like an increase of a full number. So
that is
and I'm a really
awesome.
Pale person, so I need to practice what I'm preaching here.
We love carrots at our house. My daughter is so awesome. She put little labels on my fridge, like where things go. And I have one drawer just labeled carrots because we usually always have a thing of carrots. And I thought, that was pretty funny. She kind of nailed it. Like, this is what we eat. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. So that's lunch. Just super simple, super light, high protein, high vegetable. Okay. So trying to avoid a lot of fats, creamy dressings, most carbs. And you'll notice that like I haven't said carbs yet, right? And I'm not a fan of keto. So I do want you to have carbs, and I want you to have them at the right time, because carbs, for most of us, are either a high energy food, something we should eat before we go run a 5K, train really hard, work on building muscle, do a triathlon, or if we have what's called insulin resistance, which means our body can't necessarily process carbohydrates and sugars very well. Fats or carbohydrates are going to go stored as fat more often than not.
That is
so
no
if we're
bueno.
eating them at the wrong times, or eating them and then sitting at work, we're not really doing any high impact activities. We're just eating carbs and then being like, I guess we'll just store these for future activity.
So when do we get to eat carbs? If it's a timing thing.
Glad you asked. So this is kind of counter to a lot of fitness advice. And I'm not saying that like you have to eat carbohydrates at night in order to get results, because there's a lot of people who have cut out carbohydrates at night or done it completely backwards that do get results and it does work for them. This is what I found, again, to kind of keep the momentum going, stack wins, is we have all our carbohydrates at night. So we have a protein, a vegetable, and a carbohydrate at night. My 2 favorite types of carbs, potatoes and rice. Very innocuous, not really creating any allergies in people, just like a good, solid way to get those in. So what happens when you have that Chipotle burrito, right? We get tired. We start shifting from sympathetic nervous system dominance to parasympathetic nervous system dominance. That's the rest and digest. But now we've done it at dinner, so we've done it deliberately with the idea of like, hey, we're transitioning to like, we're slowing down. We're going to watch a little Netflix, go to bed. And so we're utilizing our food to give us the result we want. We want to get a little bit more tired. We want to fall asleep. We want to sleep deeply and wake up energized. And we're teaching our body how to do that, giving it the inputs that we want. Isn't that exciting?
Oh, that's thrilling. I love that. I love that it sounds doable. That sounds reasonable. And that's amazing. And so people are getting these amazing results by following those steps?
Totally, yeah. And like, notice I haven't like even said like, besides like the protein shake in the morning, there's no detox teas or anything like crazy you have to do here. It's simple, it's sustainable, and you can see the results on a day-to-day basis because it's not just about like you lost 22 pounds in 2 months, 3 months, or whatever else. Like yes, that happens, but a lot of times like you don't see that from Thursday to Friday. But what you do see is like, I felt really good today. When I showed up at my home with my kids and my grandkids, whatever, like I had a ton of fun with them. I had a lot of energy. I was present in every moment. I had a bunch of work to get done. I was so focused and I just nailed it. So we get all these other wins, all these non-scale victories. So again, just to keep reinforcing that we're on the right track, we're doing the right stuff.
I love that. And I love if you can have a daily win, that makes me willing to do it again tomorrow. Because if I'm just waiting for the number on the scale to change and it didn't change from yesterday to today, then my motivation, my big mo here is just, and that's momentum, but motivation too. It's not fun to play anymore.
Yeah. Can I tell you why this is important with how fat loss works? I don't know if you know much about this, but basically a lot of people think that if you're doing cardio in the gym, you're on a Stairmaster, you're lifting weights or whatever, that's when we burn fat. And that's not true at all. We burn fat when at night, as our body is repairing and processing like what happened throughout the day. So our body will be pulling from fat stores to repair and rebuild. And what happens with our fat cells is they're filled with fat. And then as we take out, it turns into triglycerides, goes into our blood and gets pulled to our liver, to other places. But something has to happen to the fat cell, so it gets filled up back with water. So even though you burn fat, your scale weight didn't change because in order to satisfy the law of conservation of mass, to burn 1 pound of fat, you need 28 pounds of oxygen and 11 pounds of water. It's about 2 gallons. So it might take 2 or 3 or 4 days to actually see the fat loss on the scale because it'll take some time for that water to drain out of that fat cell and the fat cell will actually shrink.
Okay, I have never heard that one before. So the fat cells can drain of fat and then fill with water, and so you look the same, but the composition has changed?
Yeah, and you just got to give it a couple days. So that's why, having those I have to see this weight loss, or I'm trying to lose 10 pounds by Tuesday, those things can be detrimental mentally. Yes, we can sometimes get those results, but if you're so obsessed with this really short-term progress, you can miss the forest for the trees. So I don't say that because oh, you need to know this science, or there's going to be a quiz later, but just to give you reassurance that sometimes even when you're doing the right things, when you're getting all these wins and you're not seeing the scale move, you're still winning. You're still doing the right stuff. And just in the fact, just in the same way that, Linda, you wouldn't look at your IRA or your 401k and be like, you know what, the market went down last week. We should stop investing. We should stop putting in our 401k. We still don't want to get rid of our good behaviors just because we saw a perceived setback or something didn't turn out the way we want to.
Right.
We want to stay with those good behaviors, even long term, because it's like investing. That's why I love the daily investments, because it doesn't matter about today or tomorrow necessarily. But my grandpa's 97 and he's been physically active his entire life. And so he's in such better shape physically and mentally because he's had 50, 60, 70 years of activity and investments in his own health and in his work and stuff like that. That's allowed him to have that longevity.
That is incredible. Okay, so we're talking about building good positive habits, and one of the things you do is a sugar detox, and you also talked about insulin resistance. So how do you know if you need a sugar detox? Probably for 99.9% of Americans, the answer is yes. But how do we know?
Yeah, so I was just talking crap about detoxes too, so I'm glad you brought this up. So if you there's 2 ways to find out if you have insulin resistance. One is go to your doctor and they'll perform some labs and they'll be able to tell you, do you have metabolic syndrome? Do you have insulin resistance? It'll cost you money, take some time. Here's a very simple way to do it. Take a tape measure, put it around your natural waist, which is generally about a half inch above your belly button, okay, the thinnest part of your waist, and then take that number, divide it by your height in inches also. And so that's going to give you your waist to height ratio. Okay. And Linda, if your waist height ratio, and I'm going to give you a not a simple number here, sorry. If your waist height ratio is above the number 0.46, or if your waist is greater than 46% of your height, then you have some degree of insulin resistance. It's a spectrum, right? It's not binary. So really, once you get to your waist to height ratio of that 0.46, we can confidently say, hey, your body is processing carbs the right way. Your visceral fat is pretty low. Your body, your liver is functioning at a high level. Because Linda, they did this test on, well, whenever someone goes to give a liver transplant, and they're like, hey, I'm going to donate part of my liver to save this person, whatever. They have to go through these like various tests. And what they found is crazy, because someone who's going to go to give a liver transplant is already putting themselves in a healthy demographic, right? They're already saying like, hey, I can probably afford to live without part of my liver. I'm already a healthy person. So we're already talking to like the upper echelon of healthy people in the US when we're just looking at the study. And of those people, 80% were rejected because they have some sort of fatty liver disease, which is like the key characteristic of metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance.
Okay. Well, those are not good stats.
No. So if your waist-height ratio is above 0.46, not only do you have insulin resistance, but also like you are at risk here. Like this, you are putting yourself in a position to not have the longevity, not have the energy, not have the focus, not be around for the kids and grandkids and all these things. So this is important. This is like super important to figure this out. And if you find that like, okay, this is me, I want to like, what are my next steps? Like you said before, my website is N, and that's the number 8. I thought this was really clever. Now I spent a lot of time explaining it.
It's very clever. I looked at it and thought, ooh, I like this. I will write it. It will be in the description. I promise.
So if you go to n8trainingsystems.com/sugardetox, you can sign up for my free 5-day sugar detox. It's a couple videos, a handbook. It'll walk you through it. But basically, it's 5 days of, again, you don't need any like supplements, anything crazy to do this. I'm not selling you a proprietary blend of like Peruvian eucalyptus and like, you know, moth wings or something crazy. But it's just like, here are the exact steps it takes to start detoxing your body from sugar. And one of the key steps here, Linda, and this is one of it's the one weekly investment we have. It's a 24-hour fast.
From everything, including water?
No, you still drink water, you can have tea, you can have coffee, but
water.
Nothing with calories.
Okay, all right.
And what's great about that is it's a super simple way to help get the additional carbohydrates and glycogen out of your body, reset your body's sensitivity to insulin, and then help you we have bacteria in our gut that eats sugar, and if we starve them out, they can stop sending signals to our brain of, hey, we need some more sugar. We need to get a little snack. You got a half a donut there. Like, what can we eat?
Exactly.
So we starve them out. We give them a day with no sugar. Then those cravings are way, way decreased. So it's just a good, super easy 5-day program that can result in you feeling good and just kick off like a set of new habits.
That is brilliant. Okay, so in 5 days, it's going to kind of kickstart things and help maybe shock the body into putting things into the right balance. And that is such an important part. I think a lot of times we exercise and we eat good things. But I think without that kickstart and working on, I love that you talked about the gut health and the bacteria and all of those issues. They are a big deal.
Totally, yeah, and it's like it can definitely add up too. Like there's a lot of stuff like that's why I'm so interested in talking about like inputs versus outputs, because our bodies is not a math equation. It's more of a chemistry lab. Mm. So figuring out like what are we pouring in? What impact does this have? Where does this fit into our diet? Like if we can figure those things out, you can utilize like I said, you can have frosted flakes at night if you want to, because all I'm asking you to do is have a carbohydrate at night. So if that's a potato, great. That's frosted flakes, awesome. Like all you got to do is follow the framework of these inputs versus outputs to start getting those results today.
Oh, that is brilliant. I love results. I love when something works, you know, just it's worth doing if you get some results. And if you feel good in the meantime and each day is a win, that is fantastic. Well, thank you. This has been fantastic, and I really appreciate your insight. And I love that you put it into a manner that is doable for normal people. I mean, you've kind of targeted for, you know, entrepreneurs and business people, but also you mentioned like, you know, tired people who've been dealing with little kids during the night. This is for moms and dads and just anybody. So thank you for helping make things seem doable.
Absolutely, yeah. Like if anyone has any questions or like, you know, wants to run through the detox and like let me know or get some feedback, something like that. I run a Facebook community. You go to n8trainingsystems.com/group. Ask any questions, show up for trainings. I dive into this sort of thing there. So if there's any way I can support you, Linda, or your audience, I'd love to be a resource.
Oh, thank you. And by being here today, you are. So thank you for visiting with me today.
Absolutely. This is so fun. Thanks a lot for asking some great questions.
Ah, love it. In closing, I'd like to share an old English proverb. It says, "Don't dig your grave with your own knife and fork." Today, I invite you to use your forks and knives wisely by choosing to eat good, nutritious food. See you next time on Linda's Corner.